Stop scrolling right now. Put your phone on silent. Tell whoever is in the room with you that you need absolute silence for the next 25 minutes because what I am about to show you is so explosive, so underreported, and so incredibly bullish for physical gold and silver that if you do not understand what just happened in the last 72 hours, you are going to wake up in a month wondering how you missed the biggest geopolitical precious metals story of the decade. Because while the entire world was busy arguing about immigration raids and Christmas leftovers, while the financial media was obsessed with whether some random bank was about to fail because of a silver short, something happened that makes all of that look like child's play. 800 tons of silver and a massive undisclosed quantity of gold were quietly airlifted out of Venezuela, gone, vanished, removed from the country, in what can only be described as one of the largest physical metal extractions in modern history. And at the exact same time, Donald Trump announced that the United States will now control Venezuelan oil sales indefinitely, and demanded that the 2027 military budget be increased from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. Do you think these two things are unrelated? Do you think this is just coincidence? Absolutely not. What you are watching unfold in real time is a coordinated, multi-nation scramble for physical precious metals at a scale that most people cannot even comprehend, and the fact that this is happening while gold just kissed 4,420 and silver is sitting at 74 after the biggest weekly rebound in history should terrify anyone who is not already heavily positioned in physical metal. Let me walk you through exactly what happened, step by step, because the mainstream media is not going to connect these dots for you. They are too busy trying to figure out how to spin this without admitting that the physical market is now completely detached from the paper price. It started on Christmas week when silver and gold both put in new all-time highs. Gold touched $4,420, silver hit $74 on massive volume between China and the US. The industrial buyers were panic buying, the central banks were loading up, the smart money was stacking like it was 2011 all over again. Then suddenly, just as the rally was hitting fever pitch, the price action got choppy. Silver pulled back, gold dipped. The usual suspects came out with their tired narratives about profit-taking and overbought conditions and how the rally was exhausted. But something was off. The physical premiums were not coming down. The coin shop shelves were still empty. The COMEX inventories were still dropping, and social media started lighting up with the wildest rumor I have seen in years. People started posting satellite photos and flight tracking data showing heavy-lift cargo planes, Russian and Chinese military transports, landing in Venezuela under cover of darkness. Not one plane, not two, multiple flights, and the cargo pallets wrapped in black plastic. The kind of pallets you use when you don't want anyone to see what's inside. 800 tons of silver, plus gold, airlifted out, gone. Now I know what you're thinking. This sounds insane. This sounds like conspiracy theory. This sounds too big to be true. But ask yourself this. When has the mainstream media ever told you the truth about physical metal movements before it was too late? When have they ever admitted that central banks are buying before the price has already run 50%? When have they ever warned you about a shortage before every coin dealer in the country is sold out? They didn't. They never do. And now we have Trump, fresh off announcing that the United States will control Venezuelan oil sales indefinitely, saying that we need a $1.5 trillion military budget because we are living in very troubled and dangerous times. Do you think he is talking about TikTok dances? Do you think he is worried about pronouns? No, he is talking about resource control. He is talking about securing critical commodities. He is talking about the fact that the dollar's dominance is under attack and the only way to maintain it is through military and economic power. And what is the one thing that threatens the dollar more than anything else? Physical gold and silver in the hands of hostile nations. Venezuela has been a thorn in America's side for decades. They have massive oil reserves. They have massive gold reserves. And they have been selling both to Russia, China, Iran, anyone who will buy in currencies that are not dollars. Trump just put a stop to that. He just said the United States will now oversee every barrel of oil that leaves Venezuela indefinitely. That is not diplomacy. That is control. That is a resource grab disguised as foreign policy, and the timing could not be more perfect for Russia and China. Because while Trump was making his announcement, while the world was distracted by the drama in Minneapolis, while everyone was looking the other way, they executed the largest physical metal extraction I have ever seen. 800 tons of silver is not a rounding error. That is almost 10% of annual global mine supply. That is enough silver to build every solar panel China plans to install for an entire year. That is enough silver to disrupt the entire COMEX delivery schedule for months. And they took it quietly in the dark, while nobody was paying attention. This is what peak desperation looks like. This is what happens when nations realize that the paper markets are rigged and the only thing that matters is physical control. This is the endgame of fiat currency, when countries start airlifting physical metal out of other countries because they no longer trust the system. And what is the price of silver doing while all of this is happening? It is sitting at $74 after putting in new all-time highs, after the biggest weekly rebound in history, after China and the US drove the price higher on Boxing Day like it was nothing. Do you understand what that means? That means the physical shortage is so severe that even an 800-ton extraction barely registers as a blip. That means the demand is so overwhelming that the market just absorbs it and keeps moving higher. That means we are not in a normal market anymore. We are in the end stages of a physical squeeze that has been building for years, and Trump knows it. That is why he is demanding $1.5 trillion for the military. That is why defense stocks are exploding. Lockheed Martin up 6.7% in pre-market, by systems ripping 5.5%, the entire sector hitting new all-time highs. Because when physical resources become the new battlefield, the companies that control the weapons become the most valuable assets on Earth. And what is the one metal that every modern weapon system needs? Silver. Every missile guidance system, every radar array, every satellite communication link, every drone control system, they all require massive amounts of silver. And the United States military just realized that a huge chunk of the world's silver supply is now in the hands of Russia and China. This is not about dividends or CEO bonuses. This is about securing the physical inputs required to maintain military dominance in a world where the dollar is no longer the undisputed reserve currency. This is about survival. And while all of this is happening, while nations are scrambling for physical control of precious metals, what are retail investors doing? They are selling. They are taking profits. They are listening to their brokers who are telling them the rally is overbought. They are looking at red candles on a screen and panicking. They are becoming the exit liquidity for the largest wealth transfer in history. Because when the dust settles, when the airlifts are complete, when the new military budget is passed, when the physical reality finally overwhelms the paper markets, the people who own physical gold and silver are going to be the only ones left standing. The people who sold at 74 silver because it looked overbought are going to be the ones begging to buy it back at $150, $200, $300 an ounce. I have been saying this for months. The physical market is detached from the paper market. The COMEX is a sideshow. The real action is happening in vaults and cargo planes and central bank vaults that nobody ever sees. 800 tons didn't just disappear. It was moved deliberately, strategically, by nations that understand what is coming. And Trump's response is not to negotiate. It is not to sanction. It is to seize control of Venezuela, as oil and demand the largest military buildup in modern history. This is not politics. This is resource war. And the winner of this war will be the side with the most physical metal and the biggest stick. Russia and China just made their move. Trump just made his. The only question left is, whose side are you on? Are you holding the metal that nations are airlifting in the dark? Or are you holding paper promises that can be printed or seized or devalued at a moment's notice? The choice is yours, but the clock is ticking. 800 tons are already gone. Gold is at $4,420. Silver is at $74. Defense stocks are exploding. The military budget is about to go to $1.5 trillion. This is not the time to be cute. This is not the time to take profits. This is not the time to listen to brokers who have never owned an ounce of physical in their lives. This is the time to stack. This is the time to secure your wealth in the only assets that cannot be confiscated by keyboard or printed by central banks. Because when nations start airlifting silver in the middle of the night, the game is already over. The only question is whether you realized it before or after the price reflects that reality. 800 tons are gone. Gold is at new all-time highs. Trump just seized Venezuelan oil. The military budget is going to $1.5 trillion. The signal could not be clearer. Do not be the person who sold their silver at 74 because some analyst said it was overbought. Be the person who understood what 800 tons disappearing really means. The heist is complete. The war has begun, and physical metal is the only winning side. See you at $150 silver.